Hello everyone, welcome back to Soccer Showdown. Joe Archino and Martino Puccio here. And the Champions League is in full effect right now. Some massive results from the other day. We are going to go over the ones that were the most meaningful to us. And we're going to start off with AS Roma with a 3-0 victory over Chelsea. Martino, we saw these teams play not too long ago. It was a 3-3, very, very exciting back and forth match. But Roma really takes it to Chelsea here. El Shaarawy with a brace. Very impressive. Roma leads Group C with 8 points now. But I think, of course, there's a lot of questions with Chelsea. Antonio Conte has been very vocal about the ups and downs of Chelsea's season so far. What did you take away from Roma's victory and, of course, where Chelsea is right now as a club?
I think it was a really important victory for Roma because they usually struggle in the Champions League, particularly English sides, when they lost to United 7-1. This was one of their better victories, and I mean, you mentioned it as well. They tied 3-3 at Stamford Bridge. So the fact that they could come back home and shut them out 3-0, Chelsea looked completely lost. There was one goal where there was 3 guys defending the ball and left the other side of the box completely wide open. That's just not where their heads are supposed to be at. And it's another indictment on Antonio Conte. He struggled back at Juve, managing the league and Champions League at the same time, and it looks like he's having more problems with the Champions League as well. Because last year he was fortunate enough not to have the Champions League. It was just the league for him to worry about. But now he's got both, and he's struggling again. So I think it's some worrying signs for Chelsea.
We go now, PSG, Paris Saint-Germain obviously owned the offseason with the signings of Neymar, Kylian Mbappe followed not too soon after. But they have really put their foot down, have been tremendous so far in the Champions League. They have already qualified for the round of 16, but we'll look at them. Just the other day, they went 5-0 over Anderlecht. Neymar has scored 4 goals across 4 matches in the Champions League so far. So, Martino, the question everyone was asking is, you don't pay that type of money for a player like Neymar unless you're expecting him to deliver a Champions League title. So far, PSG has been tremendous in this competition. Have you been surprised at how effective they've been so quickly in this competition?
I think so. I think the most interesting fact is that they haven't even allowed a goal yet. We knew they were going to score goals, right? They have Neymar, Mbappe, Cavani. Those are all great goal scorers, and they have a ton of creators as well. I think it really speaks volumes to how they really haven't allowed anyone. I mean, they have Bayern Munich in their group. They're always going to be a contender each year. And the fact that they're light years ahead of them, only by 3 points, really speaks volumes to it. And I mean, they haven't had the easiest time in the league as well. They've been struggling in certain matches. You see Neymar get a red card. But for some reason in this competition so far, they've proved it. They just got to get over the hump, and they're just dominating the group stage once again. So good for them, and let's see if they can keep it up.
Only 3 teams have a 100% record in the Champions League to this point. One of them we just discussed in PSG. The next one is Manchester United. And then the third is who we're about to discuss, and that is Manchester City, who many people think might just be the best team in all of international football right now. But Manchester City with a compelling 4-2 victory over Napoli. Pep Guardiola said in the last victory Man City achieved over Napoli in the Champions League that it was one of the best wins of his career. He has admiration for this Napoli club with how effective they are on the defensive side and how good he thinks they are. But it was a very, very big win for Manchester City right now. They get goals from defenders in Otamendi and Stones. Aguero scores. Sterling scores. Nothing seems to have been able to stop Man City to this point, Martino. They are unbeaten in 16 matches across all competitions this season. So I'll ask you right now, why is Man City so dominant? And interestingly enough, because you follow Serie A so closely, why do you think Pep Guardiola has such admiration for Napoli?
Well, to answer your first question, the fact that Man City has had time now together as a group, we knew what they were on offense, similar to PSG. They have all the talent that they need. They have the coach that they need. They just needed the defenders to do it. And you saw both of their defenders score yesterday. And I know that's not primarily what you want from your defenders, but the fact that they're able to do that while not conceding that much at away is a very difficult place to play against Napoli. And to your second question, for Pep Guardiola to say something like that, I think he has a lot of respect and admiration for Maurizio Sarri because they play the best style, one of the best styles in Europe. And that really says a lot because Pep Guardiola was known for tiki-taka. For someone like that to say that they play at that level in a certain way, even though they lost their left back, Napoli, to a torn ACL, which really put a dent in the game yesterday, the fact that you're able to just be revered like that by your peers, even though they haven't won anything yet, it really speaks volumes to it. And I thought they did play well. It's just that Manchester City is just on another level right now.
Let's go now to another English Premier League club which has done very well in this competition. That is Tottenham. They get a 3-1 victory over Real Madrid, and really a lot of historic implications behind this one. Dele Alli had a brace in this game, but he is just the third Englishman to score 2 goals against Real Madrid in the Champions League in history. So right there, that tells you a lot. Last season, Tottenham really had a very disappointing first round bounce out of this competition. They could not get out of the group stage, and I think we looked at this club. We liked the direction they were going in, but that was a disappointment. But this season, they lead their group, a group that features Real Madrid. They're in top of Group H with 10 points. So, Martino, Tottenham really looks like they're taking that next step forward. Are you a buyer in Tottenham? And I think most importantly, the biggest question of all right now is Real Madrid has won the last 2 Champions League competitions. What's going on with them right now?
Well, I think I'd like to buy stock in Spurs because they had a pretty good performance at the Bernabeu, right? They came away with a point. That's usually what you want to get when you go to one of the most difficult places in the world. And the fact that they came back home and won 3-1, and Dele Alli, I mean, oh my God, he's a fantastic player. And you said it yourself, too. The only player, English player, to score 2 goals against them. Doesn't matter if you're home or away. That's just an amazing feat to accomplish, especially when you're his age. And Real Madrid, you know, we talked about it. It's very difficult to repeat in this competition. We saw them a little stagnant in group play last year. I mean, they're in second place. They'll advance right now. But, I mean, I think you can get complacent after you win so often. I mean, they're struggling as well in La Liga. They lost over the weekend, and that kind of carried over midweek against Tottenham. And that's not a team that you're able to sleep on. That was the most difficult team coming into their group. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time for Real Madrid to get their mojo back. But you notice how amazing they actually were these past 2 seasons. It's really hard to sustain that level of success.
The final question I want to round things out is who is built for the long haul? I think obviously Real Madrid's not been off to a great start in this competition. Juventus hasn't been off to a great start in this competition. Barcelona has just had came out not the best result, but overall they've had a pretty promising one. Man City's been unstoppable. We see PSG's been great as well. When you look at all these clubs, some of them have young players, some of them look different than others. Who do you think right now is built for the long haul in this competition?
I really like the way Man City's playing, and they really do have the depth as well. I mean, Gabriel Jesus really, that's just another option that they have if you really think about it. I mean, I love PSG's too, but I really love Guardiola over Unai Emery because I think that's what matters eventually. He has winning pedigree. He's been to the final. He's won it before with one of the greatest teams. He knows what it takes to hoist that trophy. And he has the players that are capable of doing it as well, and they're showing it in the group stage. It's going to be very difficult for certain teams to beat them. I don't see many teams. I mean, you could give respect to Barcelona, Real Madrid, even Bayern. But maybe PSG, but I don't like PSG's defense with that. I think right now, Man City, if you had to ask me today on who would win this trophy, I would go with them because I just don't see how anyone else is going to compete with them.
The Champions League is as good as it gets, and we've got it all covered here for you on Soccer Showdown. That is going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you for listening. As always, Joe Archino and Martino Puccio here. We'll see everybody soon.